First off, I would like to apologize in advance to any names that I'm about to butcher. Um, the first thing I wanted to talk about was Carl Benz's invention of the car. It's actually opinion on who invented the first car. It's very hard to accredit that to one single person. Uh, but although Benz is technically accredited with getting the invention of the car, there was another instance of a car invention in 1826, which is very long before um, the patent that Benz had was even touched. And that was by a man named Samuel Morey in Philadelphia, who created the first car with an internal combustion engine, which then crashed into a brickyard. I also saw a lot of people who were commenting about Henry Ford being on the answers and how that was a bit tricky for them. Although Ford didn't actually invent anything, he found a way to mass produce cars in a very efficient way, and so he's technically accredited with inventing the assembly line, which is also completely untrue. Supposedly, the inventor of the assembly line is actually a man by the name of Ransom Eli Olds. So once again, another forgotten inventor, taken credit away by a powerful man. The second thing I wanted to talk about is the discovery of X-rays, Wilhelm Röntgen. He found them while experimenting with electron beams and a gas discharge tube, realized there was this fluorescent screen in his laboratory and it began to glow if his tube was ever turned on. Although he was credited with the discovery in 1895, X-rays were studied before at least the 1880s. Within the 1880s, William Crookes and a German physicist, Johann Hittorf, found these photographic plates, and that when they were near the tube, they became fogged or even flawed by shadows. Neither could figure out what was going on. They just decided to not investigate the cause and just leave it be. The third thing I've investigated was Johann Wolfgangs von Goethe. The question about his full name, I had no idea who this was, so I decided to look into it and found out that he was a writer, wrote scientific articles, journals, autobiographies, poet. Basically everything, was known as a literary celebrity by the age of 25. I also discovered that his first major science work was called The Metamorphosis of Plants, which I believe was actually a major study in my AP biology class, which I found rather funny that I had no idea who this was. And within this major work, he discovered the nature of leaf organs, ended up being a assist to a competitor of Charles Darwin. And the fourth thing that I looked into was the German band Rammstein, maybe? It consists of 6 members, and they haven't had any changes in their lineup since their first formation, which I found very interesting since so many bands nowadays are breaking up constantly. They have sold over 35 million records worldwide, and they have songs partially in other languages such as English, Spanish, French, and Russian. And those are my facts about the cultural quotient questions.